This is Andy Cizek. Welcome back to the channel. Again,
Hey.
we just finished watching her Linkin Park cover of the Emptiness Machine, and you were pretty blown away. But I really appreciated how you broke down all of her techniques. I have my own way of thinking about it and feeling it out. Yours is very different, and I can relate to it more and more because largely you've shown me things in my voice through your analysis, through working with me that I didn't know that I could do. So thank you for that.
Thank you kindly. I'm proud to be a part of that.
And we get to check out her very first video here. Let's just dive in.
All right, back to the roots with Mafra.
Man, so she's using a lot more effects on this one.
Yeah, I mean, really, it's just more reverb, which I think suits this part in the song, or just suits the song in general. It really complements the silky, smooth, but powerfulness of this section. Yeah, tasteful choice.
But you can't hear the textures of her voice and the nuances of different dynamics and placements yet.
There is there's a little bit of a give and take when it comes to singing with a little extra verb. But I think this part meant to be ethereal and sort of far away.
Yeah, and it is in the Bad Omens version too.
Yeah, and you can still hear how awesome she sounds.
I agree. And it hurts me. I like the ping she has on hurts me.
Yeah,
like how
hurts.
She's shaped. Yep.
Yeah, definitely. And you can still hear the space, like space. You can hear that flavor on the exit, and and it hurts me, and it hurts me. You gotta, you sort of like shape it with your mouth.
Yeah, there's a lot of releases in there. We were talking about this on the last one that we did together. Her entrances, she's sighing into these notes. She's sighing out of the notes. Mm-hmm. She's using vowels. Honestly, she's borrowing from the approach of Noah here. Like,
it's got the flavor, but it's obviously like, that part is canon to having that sort of emotion, but she's doing it in her own way, framing it with her own attitude. It still sounds very authentic.
Absolutely.
Very characterized.
Yeah.
So good.
Not AI people. Not.
No. Yo! Please rewind that. Rewind that. I know I do. Yeah. So, that is soulful.
So she sighs into it and she gives it a ton of chest weight, right? Mm-hmm. And then abandons up into her her head voice.
Yeah, flips it. I know I do.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh.
Fucking sick. Again, I mean, just from what I've already come to expect from Mafra, I hope I'm saying that right, but just very calculated, lots of things going on here, lots of little meticulous details that she's combining. This is preparation meets opportunity. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like when you've practiced all these different things and learned how to use your voice and all the dimensions of it, you can do stuff like this where you're just applying and it's very fluid, and it sounds so natural, but there's so much to unpack about it.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
So there's a really good example of what I'm hearing her do a lot here with the vowels. Like I'm really exaggerating that, right? But getting that ping and bringing it up here, even though it's in chest, right? And then it's almost swallowing and covering it. There's this playfulness and this journey that she's taking you on with one word, one note.
When you sort of close like that, from going whoa to the ooh, it's also, at least for me, it's easier to flip into that head voice falsetto yodel, and yeah, it's just so expressive. I'm just trying to sort of do my own version of what she's doing.
Well, what I notice about watching you do this is you changing the vowel shape instigated a more extreme break up into your head voice. So you're accentuating this thing that a lot of people are like, oops, I don't want my voice to crack, but you're actually guiding your voice into that with the placement shift.
Yeah, know how to master your voice crack, you know what I mean?
Right. Well, and this is the kind of thing that if you're, we're trading this phrase back and forth, and we both sound, if we're judging, we both sound completely ridiculous compared to what Mafra is doing, because it's out of context and we're playing with our voices, but neither of us really care because we're here to learn. We're here to study and then find opportunities in our own voice. And Andy, this is something that you do all the time, right? You teach people how to go from appreciating an artist to actually doing this stuff with their own voices.
Yeah, it's kind of like we hear these unbelievable vocalists and we're like, man, they right out the gate they must have had the sauce. And that's rarely true, Usually like this type of prowess comes with like so much goofy noise making by yourself.
Yeah.
And so it's like, if you think that the dopest voices have never sounded stupid on purpose before, then you got it wrong, because we be in our car like, whoa, did I, and again, we're like, I mean it when I say like master your voice crack, because once you sort of like hone in on how that's happening and why, you can use it to your advantage. The voice crack is in the vocal flip, and it's how we get all these amazing scream sounds.
Exactly.
Too,
yes, it's a gateway into a lot of fry stuff.
On. Yeah. So yeah, just know that I've done that for like 1,000 hours, and all your favorite vocalists, likely they have too.
So if people want to go deeper with you specifically, you've got something.
I do. I have a free warm-ups course that you can check out in the description of this video or the pinned comment, and it's going to lead you to a lot more cool stuff, unlocking your voice, getting to know yourself, and being able to perform to the level that you've always dreamed of, hopefully.
She really did a good job of heating that up without it being screamy, right? There was
it's still clean chest, but dynamically it's pushed
right on the edge of that compression. I want to say I also think that she's done a really good job of just honoring Noah's emotion and perspective while doing her own thing.
Yeah,
like there's this swell into every note,
pushing and pulling back, swelling. And you know, when you push forward, like I'm using the core to compress and tighten and sort of like, you know, control that airflow, and then you know, when it goes into that yodely sort of attitude, you're like easing up. You're letting it sort of just flow and come out. So there's a lot of manual compression going on there.
Oh, I'm changing, and I feel more like a ghost, like a specter.
Man.
In your headlights or in the road, do you feel love? I know I do.
Yeah, man.
Know what to hide.
Yeah. Let's go. Baby, let's go.
We got to hear that again. Oh.
And I feel more like a ghost, like a specter. In your headlights or in the road, do you feel love?
Man.
I know I do. Know what to hide. Do you feel love? Do you feel love?
Okay, I want you to build this sound. How you would build this sound. Like, talk about how she's doing it, how you perceive her doing it, but then also talk about how you would do it, given that it's in a different part of your range, right?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, after hearing her more and more, I think we have similar ranges.
Okay.
Because I've noticed she's got a very strong lower range, which means it's comfortable and it's not like, I'm capping out and I can barely do that. You know what I mean?
Do you feel love?
Okay, yeah. So, do you feel love?
okay.
That's, I'm starting in chest. Do you feel? And then gradually I feel like I'm sending it up, feel. And I'm beginning.
So you are utilizing your break right there.
Yes, sir. Yes,
Right.
sir. You can hear
let
it happening too.
You
Yeah.
let it falter. You went up, you placed it high like this, and then as you're finding your break and leaning into that volatility, then you lean into the fry sensation. Do it again. Do it again.
Yeah. Love. So I actually feel like the moment you start to hear that breakup, I'm compressing my core. I'm holding air back. I'm actually expelling less air than I am when I'm doing full chest. So love. That's like the slowed down version.
Yes.
Right there, teetering on that tightrope between the voice crack, into head voice and then your chest voice, balancing it right there. That's where it becomes the scream.
And where you have so much brilliance in your approach, and we hear it with Mafra too, is that you're able to simultaneously bring it up here into a lightness, the distortion, that the fry with the compression, you bring it up so nicely. And maybe part of that is the lighter voice type, but a lot of it is just the way that you've practiced this and honed that muscle memory. Build it for us a couple more times here. Do you feel loved?
Yeah. Do you feel loved? So, you gotta go back and forth.
Very good.
And I also, when the distortion's happening, it's like on the roof of my mouth, sort of forward.
Yeah.
It's not like back in the throat, but
sure.
Again, just like cracking into it. And that's the result of a billion voice cracks. To get there. Yeah.
Like a specter. In your headlights or in the road, do you feel love? I know I do. Know what to hide.
Now, contrast that with Nowhere, because there's a lot more singing in there and there's a lot more chest. It's not this like tapped out, braked thing.
No.
Nowhere,
dude.
Nowhere!
There's so much. There's so many little things there. Like even when she said with, you know, she added like a little bit of like
grunt?
grit there, a little grunt, like with no one to, you know, she's just going in and out so beautifully. All these just different stylings, these different voicings, and it's so fluid. Yeah, I mean, just I feel like every few seconds is like
right.
a bunch of different things to analyze. And then the falsetto. God damn, come on, man. Woo!
There's more throat in that one. There's this lower, longer sort of placement on that.
You know what? I feel like a lot of that is just mouth shape, because I'd still be kind of placing it in the same, you know, love, like it feels like maybe, you know, a little bit lower, but not really. You know what I mean? It's
sure.
You know, I'm getting that like dumb sort of. That's what's doing it is like this.
Okay.
Oh yeah, like you know, versus like you know,
got it.
But still, you know, all for me, it's all in the face.
That sheeny, like glassy sound, metallic.
Yeah. And she knows how to use her voice like so well, because when she chooses to, it's nice and clean and clear, just a beautiful chest voice. And then at these calculated points, she's just masterfully peppering in that breakup, just having all these tools at her disposal to bust out. I certainly do feel. That makes you feel.
Something you're missing made you who you were. 'Cause I've kept my distance, it just made you worse. But I've learned to live with the way that he is.
Man, so much personality.
Something you're missing made you who you were. 'Cause I've kept my distance, it just made you worse.
Building up that intensity. The dynamics, you know, slowly volume, pushing a little bit more with the core, but actually expelling less air with the more straightforward, you know, going from, which is very airy and very flowy, and then tightening it up and getting like this, you know, that's more controlled, holding back air, just, you know, using your core, using the diaphragm to control.
'Cause I've kept my distance, it just made it worse. But now I've learned to live with the
My God, dude. Even just, can you just go back just a couple seconds with the way she said one of those words?
something you're missing made you who you were. 'Cause I've kept my distance, it just made it worse. But now I've learned to live with
Right there. That's you know, fuck, man. It's so cool. Just so unique and an interesting way of approaching these words, that just gives it like a lot of personality and depth. That is so cool.
Was there a punch there?
Damn!
It sounds like there was a punch.
Yeah, these videos, I'm not saying like it's not. I'm saying it's not AI, but stuff like this, it's entirely plausible to be pre-recorded or at least somewhat, sort of like half and half. Or the point is, she's doing it for real, and it's awesome. This is a performance video. I'm not gonna, fault for some
No, and I think
punches
that's
or,
important
or maybe
to
it's
note.
not, whatever. Yes, it is, because we don't want to create this unrealistic sort of everything's a one take and you're just bad. No,
Right.
we do a lot of polishing. There's tuning, there's editing happening, but it's not like an ungodly amount.
No.
It's a tasteful amount. It's what this vocal style and this genre has demanded for a long, long time. And that's actually kind of the reason why tuning and all that stuff was invented in the first place was so you can capture more emotional takes that might be a little iffy pitch wise, but have so much more. You're sort of sacrificing a bit of control for character. And
Well said.
Yeah.
Well said. And I think it's
Thank you.
turned into something, though, that, I mean, on the one side, people are all witch hunty about it. Like, oh, they use autotune, then they must suck. There's that side of
Yeah.
it. But then there's the other side of it where people will use it not to do what you're doing, or what you're saying, where it's like, oh, that was an amazingly emotionally connected take, but if we could just raise that pitch up a little bit or do a punch or whatever. Like, that's a nice way to use it. But people instead will go, oh, you know what? I don't have to work on the emotional side of things because I can be pitch perfect with this
Yeah.
tool.
I mean, it depends on what you're going for, It's art, baby. You do it how you want it. I think when it becomes a problem is when you're disingenuous about, like, this is live camera audio for sure, and not, we're seeing a lot of that.
Yeah.
Where it's edited in post, and that creates a dangerous. It's like bad beauty standards,
Right.
like airbrush, but for the voice instead. No, this is a studio production. It's honest. You know what I mean? Spoiler alert, I tune my vocals. Even Chris Cornell and Audio Slave, his vocals are tuned. It's about, doing it tastefully, trying to get the right emotion and maybe a little pitch. It's really about however you want to do it.
Chester.
Just be honest about it.
Chester's voice, every album, tuned.
Yeah. Yeah, and we're not saying, oh, it's tuned as in like, oh, you can take a turd and make it sound great. You have to be very close. Otherwise the more you have to change and alter a note in editing, the more it's going to start to sound unnatural and be full of artifacts. So, this vocalist, it's just it's touched up, This isn't like some heavy-handed fucking auto-tune. This vocalist is unbelievably talented.
Distance, it just made it worse, but now I've learned to live with the way that it hurts. The way that it hurts.
All right, yeah. So right there, that is it's a little more chest than we're usually hearing in her distorted scream. So it's not, it's like that'd be pure Fry upper constriction, but this has some like false chord gruntiness. It's got some hell yeah, brother. Yeah, some grunt. So it's kind of in the middle of what you'd consider false chord and Fry, It's got so it's cool. It's cool to hear that blended where it's not, all one way or the other. And actually that kind of leads me into another thing I like talking about, which is these techniques are all very fluid. And they're all it's like just turning different knobs. It's not like, oh, I want to do a false chord scream. I want to do a Fry scream. All these hard categories. Like, yeah, it's important to chase after these different sounds individually, but always bear in mind that it's a fluid connection between everything. And then, once you get comfortable with that stuff, you can tune in and out, and you know, there's like a little DJ inside of your head or inside of your throat that's like twisting knobs, you know what I mean, and turning this up, and distortion at 70 here, up here, lower distortion down, like clean this up, clean that up, yeah, it's an ensemble basically.
Right. I think that's really a good point, because people learning this stuff sometimes get so caught up in, oh, I want to learn how to fry ice cream, or I want to learn how to do what, you know, fill in the blank.
Yeah.
And what we hear here over and over again in this vocalist is that it's so many different flavors happening at the same time, like different levels of different types of techniques. Yeah, she's using fry. Yeah, she's using compression. Yeah, she's engaging her false chord technique. Yeah, she's singing at the same time. And that's what creates a truly vibrant voice is these balances and the mastery of being able to create balances.
Absolutely.
So cool. All right, let's finish this out.
It was really cool to see one of her more recent videos first, and then go back to this very first upload and listen to that one. You can kind of see the connection and the journey. I mean, it's only a matter of months, but yeah, you can just tell that even before hitting the scene, this person has refined and honed their craft and carved out that marble block of talent that they have. Over many meticulous, frequent sessions, and it shows a lot of discipline and a lot of mastery. I was extremely impressed.
I'm excited to hear where she goes. I do hear that she's working on original music with a team, which I think is going to be just so incredible to hear.
Amazing.
And again, if you'd like to work more with Andy, developing these balances in your own voice, singing, screaming, mixed voice, range expansion, all these things, start by clicking the link below in the pinned comment or video description and joining his free warm-ups course, Monumental Vocal Warm-Ups with Andy Cizek.
Oh, yeah.
And here is the other Mafra analysis video I've done with Andy.
Enjoy.